So they were just talking a bit to Luang Por, and the question was asked was about our day trip. We went out to the countryside to see some very beautiful nature in Oregon. And so Luang Por was talking about nature and was saying that all of us, everyone here on earth, on the earth, all of us, all people, we depend on the earth, and we take refuge in the planet, and so we have to maintain the balance of the planet. But most people without this kind of long-term vision or a more broad vision don't understand this, and so our lifestyle has led us into all kinds of problems. And as we know right now, the atmosphere is changing, the temperature is changing, consumers are increasing and increasing, population is increasing, and this gives rise to a kind of struggle to maintain one's livelihood. Life gets more and more challenging, and so we see a lot of say negativity and harmful things arising in society. But this is just ordinary. This is just the nature of things. It's this part of the cycle of life. And so if there are too many people or there's too much consumption, then this will always lead to problems. So Paul was saying we can understand the Earth. We know it's one planet in the solar system. It's revolving round and round. But we can't. There are some things which we can't avoid. If I understood right, he said that there are asteroids, for example, flying around, and if a large asteroid were to come close, it would get drawn into our field, and that would be a big problem. And things like that we can't avoid. You can't prevent those. So we have to simply accept nature as it is, and whatever happens in nature. We're all born, and when we're born and we go through life, we can all smile and enjoy life, but then at some point the truth of life is that we have to decay and separate and go our separate ways, and that gives rise to distress. So with Dhamma practice, the important thing is to adapt and bring our views in line with nature. Dukkha, or suffering, can lead us to a spiritual search, to search for the answers that we're looking for, the things we really need. So even dis-ease or difficult situations can be a very positive cause or condition for this self-development. So all of us who are here may well have some kind of dukkha or suffering as a cause for seeking. Before a spiritual search, it's common to have some suffering in your heart. Like the Buddha himself, before his great renunciation to seek enlightenment, he was living a very comfortable lay life, but then one day he experienced an old man, and then a sick person, and then a dead body, a dead person for the first time, according to the legend. When he saw the old man, he became disconcerted. The sick person distressed him even more, and death was a real eye-opener. He was really distressed. So when there's suffering in the heart, then there's agitation, there's no peace, and there's no coolness. And so we get this thought arises, well, we must find a way out. We think like this, or this thought arises. If there's dukkha, if there's suffering, then surely there must be something beyond suffering and also beyond pleasure. Where's that to be found? It's difficult to find, but we're looking for it. Even these days, astronomers are looking into the universe to see where there might be planets capable of supporting human life, but they haven't found one yet. So they've gone to see a children's rooms. It's a place where kids can learn. So Luang Por was talking about the importance of training. And the word is bukalakon. It means like people. It can also mean like staff or the team. So with this, in this sense, it's like training the next generation or the society. So training up people, and it's very important because people are like, say, staff or the team, the crew. You can look at people as society's true wealth, or it's the natural resource which we have. And when people are well trained, then society naturally inclines towards happiness. So as human beings, again, this word manussa high-minded beings, as true humans, we have the natural resource, all the resources within ourselves. We have what makes us human is our capacity for growth. But anything that has, say, inherent capacity or a talent, but is not trained or not properly developed, is of no value. Just like minerals and elements you find in the earth. If you look at the earth and look at minerals, but you don't understand what they are or don't know anything about them, you might think that they're of no value. But if you look at minerals or the earth or some part of geology with knowledge, then you see that all the minerals and the elements can be used to benefit. So we look at our humanity, or this human birth that we have, in the same way. We should nurture and foster and development the spiritual qualities that give rise to peace and coolness, and as a result, people wouldn't harm each other. Luang Por was saying from the time he was born in Thailand, he heard the words world war. He was born in the early 40s, and he didn't understand. He thought that this must be some great war between the humans and all the other animals, but it's actually humans killing humans. So what must they be thinking? So we have to train ourselves from childhood. If we point kids in the right direction, in the direction which is beneficial for them to travel on the journey of life, then they'll probably do that, and they'll lead lives which are good for them and good for others. But of course, people involved in these kind of efforts to do this kind of work are limited, and there's not many people really who know how to do this. And this is because most people have what we call a strong sense of atta, self-view, usually translated as ego, conceit. Ditthimana means strong conceit, holding to their own views and opinions. And as a result, we think in very divisive and discriminatory ways, and this leads to arguments, prejudices, and even fighting. This sense of us and them, me and mine, and self and others. So we see right from the Buddhist time, society then was divided on the basis of caste. It was a caste system, and this was a cause of inherent bias and prejudices manifesting in society. We usually use the word inequality. It was an unjust or unequal society. The Buddha taught a way of living. The Buddha's creed was that for whatever status or background or caste or nation, sex we are, we're all relatives, we're all related, not in the conventional social sense of being blood relatives, but in the sense of related in terms of the laws of nature, relatives in birth, old age, sickness and death. And so when we see things like this, then no prejudice and bias arise for us. If we are prejudiced and we put others down, for example, then this is very inappropriate kind of behavior. So we have to train ourselves to understand the ideals that the Buddha was trying to teach, and the ideals that he was operating from with his incredible metta, means loving kindness. His principal standpoint's very simple: not to do evil or unwholesome. Now, all Buddhists know this in one sense, but very few people really understand it so that they can practice it. But at the heart of Buddhism is non-harming yourself or others. Sabba pasa akaranang means to avoid all unwholesomeness. The next line, kusala supasampada, means to do only that which is good. And then sajjitta pariyotapanang means to cultivate the mind, train the mind in a way which leads to states of mind which are cool, pure, bright and peaceful. So this is the Buddha's standpoint, or the Buddha's basis for action. And if people understood this, then discord, prejudice, bias, negativity, enmity, all these things would just naturally disappear from the world.